This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, this week we are painting. I owe you a painting video. I try to get at least a couple in a week. Is actually Dreadfleet. Dreadfleet. Why Dreadfleet? Because I'm giving that copy of Dreadfleet away. So I'm going to show you a quick way that I did. I already did the base coats on it, and I'm just going to show some highlights on this. On the first three, I believe it's Skaven, Undead, and it's almost like an Arabian Night type of thing, but an elemental thing. Oh, I think it's the wizards, the mages. That's what it is. The mage ship. So these three ships we're going to do, this is going to be 3 parts. This will be done by the 31st. And then after that, I am actually going to auction off that entire set at the end of the month in our silent auction. So hopefully we can raise some money to, well, help some people out. So I'm really looking forward to it. But let's get down to the table and take a look at Dreadfleet. Alright, so one of the games I plan on auctioning off for our 4-year anniversary is a game I haven't finished in quite some time. So I just kind of want to go over what I did to get this to this point, okay? The sea, I've gone over how to do sea. It's a dark blue, and you just keep working your way out with a lighter blue. But I'm gonna show you a couple other things as we continue to lighten this up. Now we're going to do 3 ships at a time, so I will show you the first 3 ships that we're working on. Now this is just a gray. I used a gray in here, and I want to make sure that I just move everything out of the way here and kind of zoom in here a little bit. Oh, there we go. And make sure that you see that there's a gray base. Everything was just primered black, so our ship is black. And I took some Retribution gold and I just started working on the cameras, the cannons, the cameras, right? Because I'm on the camera. Ushabi bone for the post. Again, a Retribution gold. And right here, all I did was just dry brush a little bit of white in here along with just doing some things. But the sails aren't done yet, and I really kind of want to show you how we're going to darken up some of these things and lighten up some of these things. So without further ado, let's get going. Now the color I want to work with right off the bat is a Dawnstone. I'm going to take a good amount of this off my paintbrush because I really want this to be light, because what I want to do is I want to give a little bit of texture to these black masks. And if you see here, I'm working the edge and I'm just touching it ever so lightly. And I want to do the same thing here. I don't want to catch that serpent there, but I want to give it a little bit of shadow and depth. And right in here, I want to do the same thing. I just want to really work that in there nice and easy, because these are very fragile models. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I can actually go over the top of this creature here, and it's going to bring it out a little bit. Now I'm going to want to get a little bit more of that Dawnstone. Dawnstone is a darker gray, and it's going to really take up. It's going to be very subtle, and that's all you need, is just that little bit of subtleness. And again, right in here. And this is just taking your time and working in that color. All right. I'm going to finish up the rest of these, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how this is going to look when it is done. Now next, I want to work on this deck here a bit. As you can see, it's just very plain. So I'm going to take a little new oil, and I want to be careful with this. I don't want it to pool up. So what I want to do is come in here, and I gently want to just get it and work it in here. Now you see by using that how much it darkens things up. I want to be careful. I don't want to get it on the masts. I probably should have done this earlier, but I didn't because, well, these were such a pain in the neck to get together at a point. And then we're going to take a little bit more, and we're just going to work this completely in here. I have 2 sets of this, believe it or not. And this set is going to go up for auction, and we're going to take the proceeds and help people with it. And that's what we want to do. I don't mind going around here and in there, and that's going to really darken that up the way I want it to and give some depth to that plank. And that's what all I want to do right there. Just a simple thing. Like I said, we're not looking to do the most professional job, but we want to make sure that we give some detail, and well, and it's very playable. That's for doggone sure. And once we got that in there, the next thing we want to do is we want to give this blade some depth, and that's what it's lacking right now. And just with some Agrath Earthshade over the top, that is going to really bring this to life. And you can see how this sawbone, or whatever the heck it is, just starts to come over like. And we want to go over the mass, of course. There we go. And this is going to help seal some of this paint. You see how that just brings everything and starts to give everything some depth? So all those colors that we had that were just kind of basic colors, you can see it on this side here before we even go. There we go. And we're just going to work that in there. Work that into that mast. And we're going to go up and down these masts here. And we want to be, there we go. And it doesn't hurt if you go over the gold here, because Agrath Earthshade works very well with that gold right there. And there we're creating, yep, there we're creating that illusion of depth. And I'm always a big component of that, as you've known for so long. And just coming up and down here, we want to get these masts too. So I'm going to finish these up, and then we'll come back for sure. I promise you that. The next thing I took is half a part of Temple Guard Blue and some ceramic white base. And all I did was just kind of mix that together, and I just wanted to take that off as much as I humanly can. And then all I want to do is I want to lightly, very lightly, go over the dark blues that I have here. And you see how I start to bring out that ocean a bit? Oh, I got that right in there. Alright, that's alright. I can get that. See how that it kind of gives that wave effect right there? Yes. And that's what I wanted. A little bit of that rippling wave in the front. And I'm just ever so lightly touching. Just touching so lightly. So much that you don't even notice it. There we go, over the top, over the edges. That's going to give us that very greenish type of sea look that we really want. And that's exactly what we're looking for, like we're cutting waves. Alright, well this one is pretty much where we want it to be right now. We're going to put that one aside. And we're going to move on to our next ship. Alright, right here we got the basic coats here. I did white underneath, and I did one coat of Duchette Violet. Everything else is brass with we have this all brass, and we darkened it with some Agrath Earthshade, and then we have some for the bowed structure. We have, of course, Ushabti bone into the teeth, and really now it's time to kind of start to darken it up a little bit more. We want to bring this to life a little bit more. Now I went so light over the first time, and you don't have to plow the wash on all at once. Okay, you could just take your time. Like right here, now's the time that we can we can add a little thickness here. We're going to be careful there. And this is where we're going to get some of the depth from our big ugly here. And we just want to be careful. I want to pull that away, but do you see how that sits in the tail now? And now I can work around a little bit over here, a little bit over into here, and then of course into here. And somebody is going to bid enough money for this. This is actually a pretty good game. I enjoyed it. But all 6, I think it's 6 ships, and all the monsters are painted. So you're going to see 2 videos on this before the end of the month. So you can actually see what you're getting. I think that's the best way to do it. I'm really excited about auctioning this off for charity. This will be the end of the month. Now you see how that all just starts to sit in there correctly? That's what we're looking for. That's the kind of look that we want. We want to move that. And a double coat, like I said, you don't put it all in at once. It's just a nice light coat in there. You can see the different when I turn this around. Like this is where you want to be. And this is, Rob, we need some work over here on this side. All right. And that's why I did it that way, so you can see it. And when that darkens up, that's going to look so nice. Well, that is an ugly ship, I'll tell you that much. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come around the mouth here. We want to be very careful. We're just taking our brush and we are moving. We're letting the wash get in where it wants to, but we're controlling it at all times. And I shouldn't be holding this at this point here, but I mean, I really don't. Oh, there we go. Duh. And I'm using just the littlest bit and letting it move in there. Exactly. Yep. And I'm going to just take a little bit more here. All right. That's what we want. And I'm just going to come over the top here. Going to come over there. The second coat really is telling, and when it dries, it's just going to be magnifico for all our European friends. And that's all I want to do. That's it. I mean, just little things bring this out. Little itty bitty things. All right, let's move on to the next step that we want to do here. All right. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to take some Sigmarite. And of course, like everything else I do, I'm going to wipe it all off on here. Yes. Hold on. Where am I? Oh, there we go. I'm going to wipe it all off on there. And then what I want to do is I want to lightly go over this metallic stuff. Alright, and I just want to give it a nice feel. Like on this side here, where some of these, and it's really going to help it just stand up a little bit. That's all it is. Just a little bit. It helps bring that brass out so much better. And it gives that depth that we really want. You know, you feel like there's metallics there. See how that's coming out just by me running the brush ever so lightly. Ever so lightly. Perfect. That's all you can ask for. I'm pretty happy with this guy. Dark wash. Now, we just want to take some Agrath Earthshade and work that in there, and I think we're going to be in pretty good shape with this guy. So why don't we do that next? Now, the nice part about this is we are controlling all these washes. So by just, yeah, this brush is a little bit stiff, but I kind of like that because I'm really just kind of just painting this on nice and easy. Making sure it doesn't run over. See how it gets in that bone? That's what we want. And we're going to bring it across on his teeth here. And that is going to help us bring some of that depth. Again, we're all talking about the same thing. And that's bringing a little bit of depth here. You can make a mistake on this too. It doesn't matter if it mixes in with the purple. As long as you're careful not to get it on the teeth. And again, all I want to do right along this bone line is really just, I mean, if you're sailing on bones, I mean, let's be honest, okay? I mean, is that really going to... Exactly. I know what you're thinking. No, it's not. All right. And right in there, right in there, right in there, and then I want to get right in there. There we go. And then stick my brush in there, nice and easy. And there. We've gotten all the bone, and we've got it nice and looking nice and dark the way we wanted it to. Or looking like bone should, right? I mean, if it's at sea, it's going to kind of rot, isn't it? Yeah, you would think. All right. So this guy looks a heck of a lot better now that we put the second coat on. And he's right where we do. Now let's go take our final look at our final ship for this part. Part 2 we'll do the other 3 ships, and then part 3 we'll do all the monsters, and we'll finish them all up. And that should be ready for the auction at the end of the month. All right. I've already kind of started working on this one a little bit. But as you can see, we have a very dark purple base. Okay, and brown. And we're going to lighten that up a little bit. And as well as these masts are very dark brown. We have a Temple Guard blue here for our wind. Okay, over here we had a Troll Slayer orange, and I just started dry brushing, which I still have on this brush, some Fire Dragon Bright. I want to see how it would look. And you could see, just to get our little part here going, is that it goes on there pretty nicely. And that's exactly what we want, is we want to kind of give that fire just a little bit of a look. I mean, we could have probably put a little yellow in there, but I don't want to break that up. I kind of like how that works right now. The masks are actually a Ushabi bone. And then I actually painted the little images with Temple Guard and, of course, brown, which is a Beastal brown, and, of course, Troll Slayer orange with a little bit of Fire Bright Dragon over the top. Our gold is a Retribution gold. And there we go. We're really trying to make this sell pretty well. So what we want to do is we want to come back with our Sigmarite. So let's get that set. Alright, so we have the Sigmarite, and all I want to do is just kind of go over the tops ever so lightly. Really have the metallic kind of just sit out a bit. Alright, nice and easy. Just going over the top. And by doing that, we're really going to get a nice effect here. And just by scrubbing it in there. And making sure that we get over there. So if we got any of the orange on there, well, we're all set then, huh? Now I probably should have done this last, because I do want to take a wash and go in here on the blue. But we'll do that sooner than later. And that's for sure here. And then we have inside the cabin here. I just want to hit. There we go. And it just brightens that up. Sure does. All right, let's go to our next color. All right. Now we have this wind here, and I really think because the wind, normally you can leave it light like that, but I just think if we add a little bit of depth to it, it's really going to just sit nicely. And I just think, getting in the recesses there is key, and I'm just going lightly, as you can see. Just trying to work that in. And then we're going to go up over his back, which you'll see very shortly. Okay, there we go. And away we go, huh? Alright, so I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll come back. We'll see how it looks once I get the dark wash on there. And that's a Draken Hoff Nightshade, which really sits nicely. The last thing we want to do is we want to take some Steel Legion Drab and just lighten this wood up. So I got a little on my brush here. You're gonna work it into a corner here and just kind of, again, just take a little bit. You don't want a ton on your brush here, but you want to get these masks and you want to hold this because this is very ginger, very light. And then you want to just kind of really go up and down this nice and easy, just so you get a little more depth. Same thing along the ship here, working inside and just working inside here as well. And by doing that, and again, I probably should have done it when I should have just dry brushed it all the way through, but I did not, of course. And then just get it in there. We're just going to work it. And it's going to give us that depth that we want. We want a little bit more depth than we have. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, this is playable quality, I would say. So we have that. We have our, I believe, Empire ship, if I'm not correct. And of course our Skaven ship. Well, I don't think that's Empire, actually. This is the Undead ship. The Undead. I forget who these guys are. But this is a pretty fun game. We got all three of these ships here. And I'll give you another view of it, too, very shortly. As you can see, there you go. There's a little bit better view of all the ships. Just so you can get a little bit better look at what we're working with and getting ready to do. We've got 3 more ships to do. We'll show you all the base colors. I'm saving showing you the bases until the end. So if you're asking about the bases, don't worry about it. We will get there. Let's go up top and get my final thoughts. Well, there you have it. It was nothing fancy. I wasn't going outside the scope. And the base coats is the real hard part. You really want to kind of paint these when you have them apart. The whole point of me just kind of abbreviating this is a reason for it is this game's out of print. So I decided to kind of just run through it kind of quickly, only because we are auctioning this game off. I showed you a couple things that you can do with some of the blues, how you can double coat a wash and how it really starts to bring things out, and you don't have to pile wash on. You can do a couple of thin layers and it does make a difference, you know, especially when you're talking about this dude here. All right, we'll have part 2 probably later in the week, probably over the weekend, so you'll be able to see that. That's going to be a little bit more interesting. There's some really cool ships that we're going to be working on. I'm really looking forward to showing you guys some of those creepy crawlers, and as well as all the monsters and the terrain and stuff that comes with it. There's a lot that comes with it. It will all be painted for the silent auction, so at least you get to see it ahead of time. All right, that's enough of me rambling. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.